So Nick Cannon did an interview with the guys at Earn Your Leisure, but it was on Revolt. They do these interviews with bigger celebrities on the Revolt channel. Great stuff, really good interview, so in depth. An hour and 24 minutes. It was long, and it was just like the Steve Harvey interview, really quality, a lot of lessons about the business of entertainment and media. So many gems. But one of the things I wanted to talk about that Nick Cannon spoke on was ownership. Ownership. And I talk about this all the time on this channel. Ownership, ownership, ownership. That's all I talk about on this channel. Ownership. The importance of ownership in media. And when we think about Nick Cannon and what he really is, because we don't really give him the credit that he deserves. At least not in today's world, but it doesn't matter because he has all the money. I Googled his net worth and it said 30 million. There's no way that he's worth $30 million when he said that he made hundreds of millions or 200 million. Well, the sales of the headphones that he owns, he's partnered with different people, earned like 200 million. He's got real estate. He's a show creator. He owns Wild and Out, the franchise. He owns that IP. And he's turning it, he is a huge person in Hollywood that people just sleep on, I think. He just had a talk show. He's a singer. So how he talks about, how he started his career. He started really young at 17. He was the first ever person to become a staff writer on television or on Nickelodeon at age 17.
Some of the producers from Nickelodeon saw me and were like, yo, there's this 15-year-old kid on stage, and clearly we make shows for 15-year-olds, and this is the time of all that and Kenan and Kel, and I was in awe of them because I was like, yo, I'm out here hustling, y'all out there getting it. Yeah. So I would see Kenan and his manager, and they really put me on.
Which is crazy. So he has been in the industry all this time, and Nick Cannon is a singer / rapper. He is an actor. He's a director. He's a writer, showrunner. Or not showrunner, but show creator for formats. He is so many things. And a real estate entrepreneur. He's a media mogul, media powerhouse in his own right. And I don't think he gets all the credit for, because we just kind of that's just Nick Cannon, He's but he's kind of like a mini Will Smith. Not a mini. He's definitely an equal to Will Smith, because whatever they're claiming his net worth is online is just so inaccurate. He is a powerhouse in his own right. And how was he able to do all of these things? That's what I want to talk about. He was able to do all these things because he had ownership. He said something so powerful in the show, and it's something that I live by. And it was almost like, for me, because he is someone that I definitely want to model my career after. And someone like him, it's the thing that he said, and I've been living by this for 5 years now, is that he doesn't, or no more, even 7+ years. I've been living like this for a while now. But he said that he doesn't audition. He doesn't try to get hired on jobs. He creates the jobs. So instead of trying to audition, trying to pitch, trying to get put on, he's the one that creates the shows, and he pitches it to the studios. And sometimes he puts his own money into it, like Wild and Out. He put his own money into it, created it, then licensed it to the studios. And that's how he made so much money. And or I think he broke that down. He partnered in a way, but still owned the IP, and then I think MTV owned the production, but he owned the IP, and that allowed him to make merch and earn money off of the merch. Do so many things with the business of that, the brand, right? But that important component that he talked about, the fact that he doesn't have to go to people for jobs. He creates the jobs. He creates the jobs. So all these people, all you people that are watching this right now, you're waiting for somebody to put you on. This is your validation that someone like Nick Cannon, who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, what Google says is not accurate based on just what he said in that interview. He's worth hundreds, and I think he said it also that he's made hundreds of millions of dollars. Somebody like him that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, there's no way, that just validates you to go and create what you need to create, because he did in the 90s. And even back in the 90s, you still had to go through a gatekeeper. You still had to go to the studios and pitch to them. Fair enough, there were fewer people pitching, and he was in a great pocket to know people and be established. He was lucky in that sense, but I guess luck, I don't know if it's luck, but he was fortunate to be in that position, to be known and be like, have an ear to the ground and know when things are happening. So to know when to pitch to people, that's a skill and a talent, you know, and a privilege that comes from having proximity, especially in the 90s. So he had all of those things, but he turned that into business. And just go watch this interview, because there's so many gems that he drops in this interview, and you just forget that he's such a massive powerhouse. Nobody really gives him his credibility. And just thinking about him, the fact that he has a talk show, I know the talk show just got canceled, but he creates his own shows and all these things. And you know, his biggest regret with his talk show is the fact that he was not the owner of it, because now it turned into a job because people are telling him what to do. Like, this man is me, like literally, he is me, because I'm not trying to work for anybody, right? And, you know, being in that position that he's in, where he's like not trying to work for anyone, just, it's better if you want to create what you want to create. Like, it's going to suck. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult to get off your feet off the ground, but it's very imperative. It's very important that you do that, to have your own, so that you have your own ownership. Sure, you can get jobs from studios and stuff for to build your brand that way, but with social media, there's so many other ways to build your brand. You know, there's so many ways to build your brand. You don't have to build your brand through getting put on by someone. You can literally post every day on TikTok, and that's how you can build your brand. And so the landscape is so different now. Like Drake said, you don't have to go to Hollywood. You don't have to go to New York to make it. You can do it from your home. You can build your own following around the world. You can be your own Hollywood yourself. But nobody's thinking like that. Everybody's looking for validation from the big studios, but your validation is from your audience. Your validation is from your fan base. All the tools are available for you to create whatever it is you want to create. Go on YouTube, learn how to do it. It's going to take you maybe a year or two to perfect it, but that's just what you need to do. Start learning. One of the skills that I've learned whenever I'm trying to start something, I hire an expert in that field to make a project. It's typically for a project. I didn't do it intentionally. It's just the way that it worked for me. I hire an expert in that field, and then we create. And then I learn from that expert. I see how it's supposed to be done. And then I go on YouTube, and then I learn the whole process step by step. But because I got that introduction from that expert, that already gives me access to what the best is supposed to be. So make sure it's the best that you're hiring, not just like any Tom, Dick, and Harry. But sometimes even if you hire just like a basic person, they will teach you enough. YouTube can really fill in those gaps. So YouTube has been a phenomenal tool in teaching me everything. I've learned everything on YouTube, you know. So Nick Cannon dropped some gems. Definitely go watch the whole interview, all 1 hour and 24 minutes of it, or 25 minutes of it. It's incredible. So many lessons, but the main takeaway is ownership. Own, so that you can create your narrative, control your narrative, control what you get to work on, and not be worried about getting fired, right? Not be worried about somebody blocking you, not be worried about all these things that come with being an employee. Change your mindset to a CEO and an owner and not an employee. But hey, I say all this, but some people are just meant to be employees, so I'm not coming for you. I get it. It's easier. If you want to be an employee, that's fine. But there's so much more that you can gain financially and creatively if you own. Because for me, waking up and having somebody tell me what to create, that I don't like it. I like that I'm so proud that I get to wake up every day and create whatever I want to create. That to me is more valuable than getting put on by a big studio or whatever. Sometimes, like, yeah, you can make the sacrifices, get put on by a studio. It's a sacrifice, sure. But at the end of the day, I just prefer to be in control, to create what I want to create, and know that I'm actually going to put it out to an audience, and I actually have the potential to get viewership. I have millions of monthly views already. It took me how many months? Since August, I started this, and I'm building it, and it's growing. TikTok is my main, place where I get the viewership, but it's been lucrative. So at the end of the day, guys, we have way more opportunities than there were in the 90s. So watch this interview, learn from Nick Cannon. He is a veteran in the industry. Learned from Will Smith, from the best, and married to Mariah Carey. Like, he's really up there. Like, I don't think people give him enough credit. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the above. My name is Kenim, and see you next time. Peace.